Welcome to your Real Estate Review with Alan Canis of Engel and Volker's Silicon Valley, your weekly getaway to the pulsating heart of the global real estate market. Join us as we bring you exclusive interviews with top producing real estate agents from around the globe. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, or just a real estate enthusiast, this is your insider look into the pros, cons, and the captivating allure of the world's most sought after locations. Let's discover where your next dream home awaits. Buckle up for a real estate journey like no other. This is your Real Estate Review with Alan Canis of Engel and Volker's Silicon Valley. Welcome to your Real Estate Review with Alan Canis. That's me of Engel and Volker's Silicon Valley. I want to welcome a wonderful, wonderful person, Natalie Nolte of Bend, Oregon. Hi, Natalie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I'm so glad you were able to take the time. I know you're really busy in your schedule with family and clients. And so thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let's dive right in. And that's typically, we just jump right into questions because people want to know about you and they want to know about Bend. So can you tell us what you did before real estate?
Yeah, I spent 20 years in the medical field. So I was a neonatal and pediatric respiratory therapist, and we did children's flight. And I
Wow.
absolutely loved it. It was wonderful. And then when I moved to Bend, I just was ready for a career change. And it was the first time I lived in a smaller town that I felt I was ready to do real estate in. I'd lived in big cities before, and it's just been a great transition for me.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I did not know that about you. So that is great to know. Can you please tell us, you said when you moved to Bend, what brought you to Bend and basically the how, when, and why you are in real estate?
Yeah, so it was 2007, and I had been training for a triathlon with a girlfriend, and we came down to Bend and with our families, and we did a triathlon. It's called the Deschutes Dash, which is a pretty popular race here. And we spent a week here, and I just thought, why am I waiting till I retire to move to Bend? Let's do it now. I had a 4 and a 7-year-old, and I thought, what a great place to raise my kids. So in the process of finding a house, I just decided I was ready for a career change. And I really thought that I could do it better than some of the people that I'd worked with. And I really wanted to bring my passion for helping people and getting them through, life and birth and death and all the things we did in the hospital to getting into their forever home or finding a rental property or whatever it was. And I've been a landlord and had lots of rental properties as well. And it was just an easy transition. So it's been a wonderful career for me.
Yeah, you had said something that better than others. And so I know before I got my real estate license, we had bought and sold different homes. Mm-hmm. And I felt that the other real estate agents, their level of expertise was below what just the medium I was looking for. Mm-hmm. And the same thing. I felt I could do it better and look out for my clients' best interests better than others.
Absolutely.
So, and I know because I've referred to you and my friends, clients love that your expertise, et cetera. And I can go on and on and on.
Oh, well, thank you. They were so great to work with. They were fun. Yeah.
Would you tell us a bit about your background in real estate and your specific experience with clients relocating and purchasing a home in Bend?
Absolutely. So I started real estate in January of 2010, and I worked at another company that we shall not name for a long time. And then I've been with Engel and Volker's for the last 3 years now, and it's just been a wonderful move. As you know, we've got this wonderful family of brokers we can work with.
Yes.
So I do a lot of referrals in and out of the area. And I think just having been, a mom, a homeowner, a landlord, all the different things here, I've really got a good handle on what is in Bend and what's important to people. And honestly, I've helped so many people find homes that have relocated that I haven't met them until they've gotten here and they've seen their home. So it's kind of an interesting phenomenon that, people will buy a house over FaceTime, that they put that trust in you. And I think the way you gain that trust is just by doing such a great job for them and sharing your knowledge and letting them know what you can do for them and are willing to do for them, and just taking a lot of the pressure off of them and making it an easy process.
And I think one of the things that sets you out apart from others is you really listen and really take in what the individual, the couple is looking for. Mm-hmm. And rather than just showing and trying to make a sale. So I know I appreciated that when I referred to you. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, it's not about a sale, right? This is a relationship business. So that's what I really focus on.
It really is, definitely. And what are some of the unique features or attractions of Bend that make it an appealing destination for people looking to relocate?
Oh gosh, just the quality of life here, it's incredible. I can't say enough about Bend. I've loved living here. It's so beautiful, and there's just so many activities. We're really up and coming with food and beverage and breweries. I think there's 30 plus breweries here now. We've got a lot of
Wow.
great restaurants. So we're really a destination as far as people coming here on vacation, wanting to live here, second homes, those types of things. And we've got great schools. My kids went to school from second grade on up all the way through high school. My son went to college here. And we just got something for everybody. It doesn't really matter your age. I can be out on the trails behind my house riding my mountain bike, and there'll be 4-year-olds and 75-year-olds. It's fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And how would you describe the current real estate market in Bend, and what trends should a potential relocator be aware of when thinking of moving to Bend?
So right now we're sort of in this strange phenomenon where we've been sitting right around 3.5 to 4.5 months of inventory, which, as you know, is typically a seller's market.
Yeah.
But it's more inventory than we've had in quite a while. And so I think buyers they're being picky. They're not wanting to spend money they don't have to because of the interest rates. And so things are taking longer, and it's acting more like, I would say, a buyer's market than a seller's market. But the only thing I can say is just having everything in place, having your lender, having your team, having all the people that you're going to work with so that when the right house pops up, you're ready to move. Because I see so many people sort of sit back and wait, or they're going to wait for the market to crash or this to happen or interest rates to go down. And, it's been a long time since any of that's actually happened. It's good to see the rates
Yeah.
now, but I think just for someone to be ready to jump when the right house comes, because it can get competitive and you just got to be ready.
Well, and what I tell clients is, like you said, when the right house comes along, we try to, as human beings, time it just right to
Mhm.
buy or sell. And there's really not the perfect time until you find the perfect house.
That's what
That's
makes it the perfect time, right?
exactly. Thank you.
Mhm.
And what are some of the common challenges or pitfalls that people face when relocating or purchasing in Bend, and how do you help them navigate these?
So I think one of the big problems here is if someone wants to move here and they don't have a job, it is a little bit difficult to find a job. Luckily, we've got a ton of entrepreneurs and startup companies and a lot of people that can work from home or, travel once a month or those types of things. Or sometimes we've got couples that one of them will travel once or twice a month and the other one stays home, gets the kids through school, those types of things. So I think jobs are probably the hardest. And then it's really becoming difficult with affordability here. I know it happens in a lot of your areas too,
Yeah.
but a lot of our service industry workers are really struggling to work here and live here. So we're getting, a lot more apartments and things like that, which I think is helping with affordability. But to get into a home, it's definitely more expensive than it's been. And I've had clients that have said, we're going to wait 6 months. Well, now they can't afford what they could have afforded. So I think that's a really big pitfall. I think, if you know what you want, we need to be looking, and then you've just got to be ready to jump.
I call that the wish I woulda when they've
Oh,
waited too long.
absolutely,
Yes.
for sure.
Can you give us this? Well, actually, we've spoken a little bit about the sense of lifestyle in Bend. What are the local communities like, and what kind of amenities can a newcomer expect?
So one thing I love about Bend is it still has that small town feel, even though we've got a lot of amenities that people want. And I can't tell you how many times you go out and you still run into people which moving from Portland, that was not the case. A lot of our neighborhoods have neighborhood trails. There's a lot of parks. We have a ton of green space and dog parks and things in Bend, which is wonderful. And then we've got a lot of golf course neighborhoods. We have a ton of golf courses here. It's a really great golf community. So you can get anywhere from, a yard that basically you have no maintenance to acreage. You could go out to Tumalo, which is 15 minutes out of town, and have a horse property, whatever you'd like. So I think it's really easy to find a great property here. I think one misconception that some people have is they think that everything's going to be just spread out in Bend, and it's not. We still have neighborhoods that have, regular sized lots and things like that. So it's not always what people expect, but we can always find what someone's looking for.
There's something for everybody.
There really is. Yeah.
And Bend is known for its beautiful weather. Can you talk a little bit about the climate?
It's a great climate. We're high desert, so it's dry. We don't have the humidity and stuff that we even have in Portland or at the coast a few hours away. And we'll get snow anywhere usually from November to probably March, the odd snowstorm in April kind of a thing, but that doesn't last very long. But the beautiful thing is we can drive up to the mountain in 20 minutes and be skiing, snowboarding, cross country skiing, whatever you want to do. But you come back to town and there usually isn't much snow. We might get snow for a week or two that it stays, but it comes and goes pretty quickly. So it's just really nice to not be in the thick of winter all the time.
That is nice. Here in the Bay Area, what I always say is we get the four seasons. We just don't know which day they're going to land on, and then we can also drive to it.
Yeah, we get that too. And we get a lot of sunshine here, which is really nice. So even if it's cold, you've got the sun out, you can dress for it, you put on a little bit bigger puffy coat, and you can still enjoy being outside.
And that's terrific. And
Hmm.
people want to be outside. So we're
They do.
finding that more and more.
Hmm.
And speaking of climate, how is the business and economic climate in Bend?
It's going pretty well. Like I was saying, we've still got a lot of entrepreneurs and startups that come here. We've got some big employers like Les Schwab and Apple and the hospital and things like that. A lot of medical community that employs a lot of people, but it's going quite well. And there's always people moving here and always starting new things. So I think that speaks really, really highly to us. And then we're getting a lot more, I would say, a little bit higher end restaurants than we used to have, which sort of brings in a different crowd and makes it feel a little bit more upscale as well.
I'm definitely a foodie. And
Mhm.
so knowing that there's a culinary, that there are culinary experiences there in
Mhm.
Bend make a huge difference.
Yeah, it does to me
Yeah.
too. And another thing that's really fun is we have a lot of food truck areas.
Ah,
I think there's probably at least six in Bend. So there'll be, 3 to 6 different food trucks, and they've got beer and wine and different things. There's games and stuff for kids to play. So again, it's just another way to really bring the community together. And it's not as expensive as going out to a lot of the restaurants. And it's fun after a day of skiing or golfing. You don't have to care how you look. Everybody's
yeah.
out there just having a good time.
Well, it's a nice experience that you get to meet other people that are within the community, and I enjoy a good food truck.
Yeah, me too. We've actually
For-
got a few of our food trucks have taken up and they've got brick and mortar downtown now. So that's kind
oh,
of fun to see
really?
them expanding.
See, that really shows that they are an awesome food truck then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
From your perspective, what are the top benefits for someone who's considering to move or purchase in Bend?
I think it just goes back to an overall quality of life. You can have
Yeah.
a pretty good life work balance. And when I'm not working, I honestly feel like I'm on vacation because I'm hiking, I'm biking, I'm golfing, I'm going up to the mountain, you're going to a lake, or you're just out at a food truck with friends having a drink. It's really nice to know that we've got great schools, we've got great educators, we've got a lot of wonderful athletes in town. So we've got great sports programs at all the schools. So it's kind of a nice place for you to raise a family, retire, all the things that you want to do. And it's really accommodating to everyone, which I think is fantastic.
And that's how it should be.
I
That
agree.
is a fun life.
Hmm.
So, speaking of more questions, in what ways do you, as a real estate agent, provide value to someone relocating from another region or state? And how do you differentiate yourself from other agents in Bend?
I think to differentiate myself, again, I'm working off of experiences that I've had. So I really make it a point to have really good communication with people. I really listen to what they want, but I also insert my opinion or attitude on different things to make sure that they know if I think they're making a mistake or not. I think just always being available for people. We do a ton of FaceTime showings where people have never seen the house, we've never met, those types of things, or they come on one trip and we get to show them around, and then we're basically finding them their house when they're not here. So I think the amount of referrals and repeat customers that I have really speak to I do a fairly good job of that. I'm doing the best I can, but it
Yeah.
seems to be being accepted and acknowledged by people. As far as when people are coming here, I think I just try to educate them on what they can and can't expect here, because some people have that vision in their mind of what they're expecting Ben to be, and it's not always that. So I think just being real with them And I think too, just really letting people know what areas they can potentially afford or why they might want to try to stretch their budget a little bit, those types of things. And then I have a great relationship with most of the brokers in town. So finding off market properties so people can really get into something that's perfect for them before there's multiple offers or a lot of other people looking at it, I think has been really beneficial too.
It's so important to have relationships, not good relationships, not only with our clients, but with the agents on the other side,
Absolutely.
because then you are privy to the off market, because here we have 20% of our sales are off market listings.
Hmm.
And so a lot of buyers don't realize that. And so they start working with a real estate agent without really interviewing and knowing that they're knowledgeable for what they're looking for.
Right. Well, and I think that knowledge and experience really comes into play too, just with everything that's gone on the last couple of years in real estate. Because I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but every time I do a transaction, you learn something new, whether it's good or bad. There's
Yes.
something you learn or experience. And I think if people end up with someone that doesn't have that knowledge or experience, they could get into trouble. And I just really think it's important to have someone that's on your side and really fighting for
Yeah,
you.
I agree with you 100%. And
Hmm.
I also agree with you on learning something. Every single transaction
Hmm.
is something new,
Yeah.
because no two transactions are exactly the same. No two houses are typically the same unless you're doing a new build.
Right, right. Well, and even just learning to work with different agents, we've had quite a few new agents start in the area. And it's sometimes difficult when you don't know how someone works or what their experience level
Yeah.
is. And so that can create something that's got to be worked through as well.
Well, my favorite that I tell clients, it's not about me, it's about you.
Hmm.
Everything is about you. And I can't tell you how many buyers, especially buyers, have been, well, it's always, my agent showed me three properties and she got upset that I didn't buy one of them. Or I was shown, oh yeah, I've heard it,
Me
yeah.
first.
Or my other is my agent wants me to spend more, but I really don't feel comfortable doing that. And so
Right.
I got yelled at. I'm like, what? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Some
it,
people forget this is a service industry.
exactly.
Hmm.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice you would give to someone who is thinking about relocating or purchasing in Bend?
I'd say do it sooner than later. Just because over the last 15 years, I started right after the recession and everything was a short sale or a foreclosure. And you couldn't really believe the prices were ever going to recover. But every year we see growth here. Not
Yeah.
in every particular neighborhood, but we're still seeing an average of 3 to 9% growth, depending where it's at. Not the 40% growth like we saw during COVID, but the longer you wait, the less you're going to be able to afford. And unfortunately, that's just the way that it's going. So I say get your foothold into our community, and then you can always move up down the road if that's what you choose to do. But I think at least get something that suits your needs now that you can either rent out later or sell and move up to the next place once you're here and know what you really want to do.
That is definitely great advice. Yes.
Yeah.
And where are most of your buyers coming from?
We've got a pretty good assortment. We get a lot of people still from within the state of Oregon. We get a lot of Washington, California, Arizona, Florida, Texas. For a while, we had a lot of people coming from Hawaii. I haven't seen that as much lately, but I had a couple years where probably every third transaction was someone coming or going to Hawaii. You go through those little times, but I would say that's the majority. And then we've still got just outliers that come from wherever.
So the people coming from Hawaii, at least what I've experienced when they come to California, especially Northern California, they're cold. They're used to the warm weather, and so all of a sudden they're freezing. I've had clients who say, "I didn't realize it was so cold." I'm like, "Wait a minute! It's 61 degrees outside, and it's not
Right.
cold."
Well, and that's where we lose a lot of people too. If they come from somewhere like that and they think they just want seasons and they want different weather, and then they get
Yeah,
here and they don't maybe love the winter because it's definitely not something they're used to. So I always say, I think somewhere between January and March, you need to take at least a week vacation and go somewhere different, even if it's skiing somewhere else. Just
yeah,
get away and get a break so that when you come back, you really appreciate what we have here.
that's
Because
good
whenever
advice.
I go somewhere else, I want to come back to Bend.
How do you see Bend in the areas within Bend evolving in the next few years, and what impact might that have on new residents?
I think we're still growing, which is a definite. That's still happening, and even though we're seeing people leave and go to different places, because we did have a lot of people had to leave and go back to their jobs that could no longer work remote. So we're still growing. We're still providing more housing. I'm not sure we'll ever quite catch up to what they really need, but it's getting better with some more affordable housing and neighborhoods. And we've
Okay.
got some big builders that are building a lot of homes. I think we're just going to continue to see that. So again, I think it's if someone wants to be here, they need to do it sooner than later.
And that's with so many in so many areas. I agree
Mhm.
with you. How has the real estate market changed in recent years, particularly with regards to relocating trends?
I would say we've slowed down a little bit because we had such an uptick during the COVID times.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of people have had to go back to work, but we're having people that they're figuring it out. If they have to quit their job and do something else, or sometimes they have to leave and they go back for a job for a few months and then they decide, you know what, I want to be in Bend, and they figure out a way to do it. So I think we're maybe down just a little bit because we had such an increase, but I think we're staying pretty darn steady. We still get a lot of people coming from other places, and I'm sure a lot of the old local Bend people don't love it as much. But the thing I love is so many of us are new and we're here because we love it and we want to be here, and people are friendly and welcoming, and so it's still easy to meet people, and it still has kind of that tight knit little community feel to it.
And that's what makes it so special. Yes.
I agree.
How do you think technology and online resources have impacted the way people are approaching real estate and relocating?
I think that's interesting because I've been watching you on social media. You've been doing some great stuff, but that's not really my forte. And I keep thinking, gosh, I need to get with the times and I need to do that. And I probably do need to do more. But I think what technology is doing is making it easier for people to find places and easier for them to find us to work with.
Yeah.
But my experience has been people still want to be looked after. They want to know that they're a priority. They want to have someone that cares about what they're doing and is taking care of them and making sure they're getting what they want. So I think it's helped to some degree, but I think it's never going to, take our jobs away or anything because people like what we can do for them.
Yeah. And that's what I tell clients as well. It's, the AI is here. It's not going to, I don't think it's going away, but
Mhm.
you still need the personal touch. You
You
still
do.
need the information that is personal, not just what is viewed on a screen that somebody put into a computer.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
you need that knowledge and experience
Yeah.
because AI, Zillow, all of those things, nobody knows the ins and outs because they haven't called the agent, they haven't seen the house. And those are things that people are finding more and more times. It's important for them to know that information versus just what they can find on a
Yeah.
screen.
Definitely. So this is my last question that was
Okay.
not on your, because I
Oh,
like
no.
I
Here we go.
like to do this question to everybody. So, would you please share with us a favorite real estate story? See, not too difficult.
Not too difficult. Actually, I do have one, and this just happened recently. I had some clients that a few years ago they bought a home here, and it took a really long time to find them the right house. They were very picky, which they were spending a lot of money. They should be, but they were also kind of here and there and changing their minds. And so they bought this house, and then about probably 6 months ago, she called me. We become friends, which luckily happens with most of my clients, and she said, you know what? I think we're ready for a bit of an upgrade. So if you see anything with this criteria, let us know. And so I called her one day and I said, hey, I found your house. Do you guys have time for a FaceTime? So we set it up, and her and her husband are on there. And then I see him wandering around and he's not paying attention to the house. I'm like, okay, clearly I've lost him. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love this house. And I said, well, let me know as soon as you can get down here. I don't think it's going to last, but it's going to go on the market next week. So they hemmed and hawed, and then she got back to me and she said he just doesn't really think it's the house for us. And I said, okay. I said, I think he's wrong, but whatever. And then about a week later she goes, oh my gosh, he just sent me the house that you walked us through
Oh
and he
my
thinks it's
gosh.
the perfect house for us. And I'm like, well, it is. So they wrote an offer on it. They came down, they saw it, they were absolutely in love with it. They bought it before they sold their other home because they just didn't want to miss it because again it was off market, and they are just over the moon. We got their other house sold a few weeks later, and it was just so fun to see that I knew what they wanted and they just needed to listen to me.
Yeah.
And her husband still, he's like, oh, Nat, you found the right house for us. He's like, every morning I walk up to my kitchen, I love it.
That's how it should be.
It
Well,
is.
and Natalie, I referred you. I'm going to use their names, Marco and Jess. I know they'll be fine with it. They were working with another real estate agent to help sell an income property that was outside of Sacramento. So they didn't work with me.
Okay.
But I've known them for years. I've known Jess for years and Marco for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
And when I referred them to you and they started working with you and they ended up writing the offer and et cetera, they came back saying, why didn't we have this same real estate experience when we went to sell? They had such a horrible experience. And I said,
Oh.
that's because you didn't listen to me in the first place. No, I didn't say that. I said, yeah, I said, you know what? Everybody is different. And when interviewing, you actually interviewed. And that's what makes the difference. And the personality match, the fit was there. And they only amazing things to say about you, that you were so
Oh, that's great.
knowledgeable,
Thank you.
helped with the negotiations, you knew the contracts. I mean, that makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So thank you.
they were funny. We were kind of flying by the seat of our pants at the end because we were still looking at houses, and they're like, "We want that house 2 houses ago." So we were literally doing everything over the phone, getting the pre-approval letter, getting everything going.
Oh, and they are over the moon. So
Right, yeah.
yes,
I'm
I
going to
like
see them
these.
when they get up here again. We're going to take them out to my friends for wine tasting. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, they can't wait. So Jess has talked about it.
Oh, great. Well, when
Yeah,
are you going to come and visit?
I will be there soon. I just don't know when.
All right. Well, you always have a place.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Natalie, thank you so much. And everybody who's watching, thank you for watching the show. Natalie Nolte of Bend, Oregon is your person that you need to speak to. If you have any questions regarding Bend, thinking of relocating, thinking of selling, Natalie is your person. Thank you,
Thank
Natalie.
you.
So thank you everybody for watching the Real Estate Review with Alan Canis. Again, that's me of Engel and Volker, Silicon Valley. Thank you.